From Midnight Street meets to box office blockbusters, a handful of Japanese machines went from local legends to Hollywood co-stars. This is Fast and Furious JDM cars, from street racing to Hollywood. The story of five icons that turned wrench culture into pop culture. The Toyota Supra A80, Mazda RX-7 FD, Nissan Skyline GT-R R34, Honda S2000, and Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution VII. Picture the opening shot. Sodium lights on sun-baked asphalt, a crowd forming, laptop tuning screens glowing. Then that line, "I owe you a 10-second car." It wasn't just dialogue, it was a mission statement. The franchise took pre-internet tuner forums, weekend track nights, and import myths, and blasted them into the mainstream with neon underglow, nitrous purges, and big-wing silhouettes you could spot across a parking lot. Let's start with the orange comet that started a million builds, the A80 Supra. Under that long hood sits the 2JZ GTE, an iron block inline-six that tuners still talk about like folklore. Twin turbos from the factory, a stout bottom end, and a manual gearbox that could take a beating. Suddenly, the phrase 10-second car didn't sound like make-believe. On screen, the Supra was redemption, a stripped shell reborn into a highway slayer, a visual metaphor for building your life one bolt at a time. Off-screen, values skyrocketed. Yesterday's used Toyota became today's blue-chip collectible because the movie didn't just show a car, it showed what it could become in the hands of friends, tools, and stubborn optimism. Switch scenes. A red coupe idling with a turbine-wind triangular taillights glowing, Mazda RX-7 FD. If the Supra is muscle in a suit, the FD is a fencer, light, low, and wired for response. Its 13B REW rotary with sequential twins doesn't thump. It sings, building boost in waves as the chassis carves neon reflections into the night. The film gave the RX-7 a larger-than-life aura, wide-body curves, deep dish wheels, that unmistakable rotary timbre. But the real magic is the lesson it taught a generation. Lightness and feedback can feel just as heroic as horsepower. For every kid who heard the buzzsaw wail and Googled rotary apex seal, there's a driver today who learned smooth inputs because the FD demanded them. Now cue the forbidden fruit. Nissan Skyline GT-R R34. Silver with blue stripes, blue with gold wheels. Whatever the livery, the GT-R became the avatar of "I want the thing I can't have." In America, import rules kept the R34 out for years. The movie made that scarcity part of the legend. Underneath the myth sits real engineering. RB26 ATTESA twin-turbo straight-six, ATTESA all-wheel drive that shifts torque like voodoo, and Super HICAS rear steer helping a heavy coupe dance. When the franchise put the R34 on screen, it fused gaming dreams, Gran Turismo time attack ghosts with a real car you could point at and say, "Someday." For a lot of viewers, the first time they heard Godzilla wasn't on a dyno, it was in a crowded theater. Then there's the candy-coated needle that stole a scene and a few hearts, the Honda S2000. Small, bright, unapologetically flashy, and lethal when the revs climb. The F20C four-cylinder screams past 8,000 like it's late for practice, and the six-speed snicks with watchmaker precision. On screen, it framed a truth the franchise rarely said out loud. You don't need a turbo to have stakes. You need a car that talks to you, a driver who listens, and a moment that lives forever because you nailed the shift and cleared the jump. The S2000 became the counterpoint to a boost-mad world, proof that drama can come from revs, not just sigh. Finally, the green four-door that turned practicality into a weapon, Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution VII. Rally DNA in a city full of traction problems, 4G63 turbo power, a brainy center diff, and the kind of grip that makes rain feel like a plus. In the film universe, it was the hacker's ride, the tracker's tool, the quick-thinking getaway on rough Miami streets. In real life, it bridged two audiences, the laptop tuner hunting plots and knock counts, and the daily driver who wanted 4 seats, a trunk, and a car that could embarrass exotics in the wet. The Evo VII took the movie from sun-bleached quarter miles to the messy, glorious physics of real roads. But these cars weren't just props, they were characters. The Supra was loyalty and second chances. The RX-7 was discipline and precision. The R34 was ambition and reach. The S2000 was style with substance. The Evo was teamwork and problem-solving. That's why the scene stuck. You remember the line, yes, but you also remember the idle burble, the gauge sweep, the way a hand hovers over a shifter as the tack climbs. The franchise made the audience feel what a good pull feels like. Breath held, world narrowed, exit lights streaking by. It also rewired car culture economics. Overnight, the aftermarket wasn't a niche. It was an industry with heroes and product placements. Body kits sold because a silhouette was now a signature. Coilovers and camber specs became dinner talk. The NOS purge became theater, even if the real secret sauce was fueling, heat management, and a tune that kept the engine happy past midnight. Magazines and forums turned into how-to universities. And a generation learned that dyno sheets are just the prologue. The story is written in laps, runs, and the friends who text you when a part finally shows up. There's a cost to myth, and the movies hinted at it. Street racing is dangerous and illegal. The franchise grew up, moved to tracks and heists and globetrotting stunts. But the early chapters left behind a useful truth. Builds are about community. The best scenes weren't the finishes, they were the garage montages. Lifts humming, someone labeling hardware, someone else soldering a harness, pizza boxes stacked like torque plates. For every hero car on film, there were a dozen hands making it real. As the credits roll on our 5 stars, let's land the lessons for modern enthusiasts. Supra, the platform is potential. It's not the badge, it's the bones. Strong engine, strong driveline, and a chassis that welcomes power, then and now. RX-7 FD, balance before boost. Fix heat and vac lines first, then chase response. The rotary rewards respect with a driving feel you can't fake. R34 GT-R, brains and grip. Software plus differentials make power feel bigger than it is. The magic is how the car erases bad surfaces and rewards clean lines. S2000, no purity. Learn to drive a torque-light, rev-happy car fast and everything else gets easier. Technique over theatrics. Evo VII, team sport. Tires, alignment, diffs, and brakes. When the systems sing together, you go quick in any weather. Culturally, Fast and Furious didn't invent these cars, but it gave them mythology. It handed them theme music, introduced them to people who'd never set foot at a meet, and made the idea of building a car feel like building a life. Pick a platform, choose your friends, solve problems, go faster, repeat. Auction prices and import laws tell one story. The better story is quieter. Someone pulling a late shift, torque wrench clicking, because next weekend there's a mountain road with your name on it. So when you hear that spool whistle or that rotary keen, when you spot gold wheels on blue paint or a candy pink roadster idling like it's stretching before a sprint, remember why these 5 matter. They turned street racing into Hollywood, but more importantly, they turned movie nights into garage mornings. Legends aren't born on screens. They're finished under shop lights with friends. And that's the real win these cars delivered, on film, on the street, and in the hearts of the people who still chase the feeling.